Hello, everyone. Welcome to our hangout. As I'm a little bit tangled in my headphones. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dean. I'm the guy who most of you have emailed at some point where we chatted on support, I'm sure. With me here is Mira, who you guys know from our weekly hangouts. She's there. Becca is around somewhere, but I took her place, so bear with us. And joining me today is Gary and Stephen. Gary is our intrepid, brave CEO, and Stephen is with GoDaddy. And well, you'll hear them both chat, and then we'll just burn through your burning questions, guys. So ask away, throw some hardballs. We can take it, and yeah, let's dive in. Gary.
Hey guys, really super amazingly happy that you engaged with the Mad Mimi world, that everyone at Mad Mimi tries so hard to make good and comfortable. And I'm gonna let Dean go through the questions and pick some hard balls and throw them at me. So and then we'll kind of alternate between myself and Stephen, who is an amazing entrepreneur and sold to fancy companies, to folks like Intuit and GoDaddy, and he seeked us out and has been amazing at making this incredible partnership manifest. So I'm looking forward to hearing his answers as well.
Thank you. Stephen, who are you? What do you do?
Let's see. Well, Gary did a nice job of saying how I got to GoDaddy. So I had sold a company to GoDaddy about 2 years ago, and I'm still here and thriving and having a great time growing the set of services that we bring to small businesses to help small businesses be successful. My day job at GoDaddy is figuring out what are those things that we need to bring to small businesses that keep them productive or make them more productive, and as part of our mission of helping tilt the world's economy towards small business. And we were delighted when we started to talk to our current customers at GoDaddy to find out what it was they wanted to see from us. And we heard time and time again, please bring us a great email marketing service. We went out and scoured literally the world to find the best one. And the Mad Mimi product, through both the product experience itself being fantastically easy to use and great results, as well as the unbelievable care they put into their support, both the way that they answer questions in terms of the tone and the content, blew us away. So it fits really nicely with what GoDaddy does, which is free support with all of our products 24/7, 365. So I'm here to answer questions about our plans going forward, and Gary and Dean and team are superstars in building the business they have, and we look forward to helping them grow it even further and get it to more and more entrepreneurs literally worldwide.
Cool, thank you. Actually, I was going to jump in with a customer question right away, but I'm actually going to ask the first question, if everyone will bear with me. Stephen, you mentioned, and this is something that I find really fascinating, you mentioned something about turning the world's economy towards small business, and I think that's something that everyone who uses Mad Mimi would actually appreciate knowing a little bit more about. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Absolutely. So GoDaddy's history was as a one-person business in a garage roughly 15 years ago, and now we serve 12 million small businesses around the world, roughly 9 million in the US, 3 million outside the US. And when we came together as a management team, and many of us are new to GoDaddy in the last 2 years, we said, look, what are we going to do that's going to set GoDaddy apart? We've been serving small businesses for a long time, but we haven't had a stake in the ground as to what our bigger purpose is. And as we started to look at literally the billions of people still in poverty or just on the edge of poverty around the world, the big companies, Fortune 100s, Fortune 1000s, aren't going to hire all of those people. They've got to go make their own jobs, whether that's in an emerging economy, a developed economy. And so we set out to say we're going to bring tools, whether it's an online service, whether it's through customer support, whether it's through enabling local folks to bring these small businesses into the online world. We're going to find a way to grow those people's future opportunity, literally the amount of money they bring home every day, faster than big businesses will grow. And so when we think about how do you do that, you help small businesses get started, you help them then get those first customers in the door, and then you help them spend as much time as possible making those customers happy and finding new ones. So we're going to measure success based on the world's GDP driven by small businesses, and that's really a rallying cry for the team here at GoDaddy.
Cool. Thank you very much.
I'd like to jump in real quick, just because I know we have some Mad Meme users who don't actually know what GoDaddy is. And so in speaking about shifting that economy to small businesses and all that, what is it that GoDaddy does? Just really quick.
Yes. GoDaddy is the world's largest provider of domain names and hosting in the world. So we have 57 million domains under management. That's one of the first things that small businesses do today when they're thinking about getting started, is get a name, really claim their real estate on the web. And then we'll provide the ability for that small business owner to build their own website or work with a designer or developer to get hosting from us. And then we have marketing services and then productivity services like email, calendar, contacts, and storage. So we're here to help small businesses start, run, and grow their business. Based out of Phoenix with 4,000 employees, the vast majority of whom are customer care, and we have product and service in something on the order of 24 languages around the world today.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Great. So the first question, this is a hardball one, and I believe Adi has this really targeted towards Gary, but Stephen, I actually think you're the right person to answer this as well. Stephen, will you and GoDaddy make Gary shave?
We have no dress code at all at GoDaddy. So, as far as I know, he may not even be wearing pants. So, oh, you are? Okay. So, no requirements for shaving. We could take votes on that, though, Gary, and your employees have a point of view around that now that they've seen your face on the Hangout for so much today.
Cool. Right. Thank you. Gary, how does that make you feel?
Well, it's funny, but I stopped shaving like a year ago, and then my wife kind of, she did not want me to have a beard, and then it just kind of got out of control, and then then my wife didn't want me to touch my beard after that, so,
Great.
We'll see if we can reach my knees, like the ZZ Top guys.
Cool, thank you. Okay, so now let's get into some serious stuff. Gary, what were the reasons for selling GoDaddy? And Bill would like some specifics there.
Okay. One day I was looking at my inbox, and in popped an email from Stephen and Andrew, and it had the GoDaddy domain there. I was like, well, GoDaddy is reminding me to renew my domain name. No, this is different. This is a real communication about business, and I engaged the conversation, and I hear from VCs and people who are interested in potentially partnering or buying or discussing buying or whatever it is, Mad Meme product, like many interesting technology products probably experience. And specifically, GoDaddy's customers were very, very similar to our own. And the new face of GoDaddy, especially kind of expressed by a lot of their new leadership, Stephen included, and Blake Irving, and a number of other extraordinary Silicon Valley masters, really got me intrigued that GoDaddy is really turning into a hardcore technology and high-quality product company, and I wanted to be part of that change because I felt that it can be really meaningful for little Mimi to have a big effect on the world and make small business application usage very, very lovely and beautiful, and to effectively, totally kick the butt of these big, sticky, ugly companies that small businesses are effectively forced to use when they need to use any type of sophisticated program to make them more productive.
Cool. Thank you. Awesome. So here's a couple people have expressed this question in a few different ways, and I'd like both Gary and Stephen to weigh in here. And the questions are, will there be any changes? If so, because we've been telling a lot of people, no, 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 nothing's going to change, Mad Mimi's going to stay the same. What will change? Stephen, do you want to start with that before kicking it over to Gary? From GoDaddy's perspective, what will change?
Yeah, so we bought Mad Mimi because we love the people, we love the service, and we love the application. So I'm not egotistical enough to come in and say, go change this, go change that. I mean, that's not what we brought the two companies together to do. And so what we will be doing is working with the team to create a version of Mad Mimi inside of the GoDaddy applications platform. But that won't change the way that Mad Mimi interacts with its customers today and its customer base that loves Mad Mimi and signed up with Mad Mimi for what exactly they do now. We want to preserve that tone, that capability, that simplicity and ease and beauty, and bring that into customer communications application for the GoDaddy customer base and bring this out to millions and millions of small businesses around the world. So that's what I'm planning on doing with the team is working with you guys and bringing the love that Mimi's customers have today and infect the rest of the GoDaddy population by exposing them to this spectacular application as we build it into the GoDaddy apps over the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months.
Cool.
And
Thank you,
from my perspective, I'm excited to help guide that and make that a reality so that even if we do, or when we do, produce certain elements of Mad Mimi in the interface and some design elements to fit GoDaddy, most of the changes are really happening on the back end by managing identification and authentication and making Mimi very secure and easy to use for GoDaddy users by means of authentication, the same way as Google Plus can authenticate with Gmail, for example, or YouTube is a great example of something that got acquired by Google and effectively managed the whole authentication and user identification system, and was still YouTube, and is still YouTube. So and now YouTube really functions within the Google suite of products. So we kind of are envisioning that we do not want to change something that works, and not only that, any changes that will happen will be simply the same changes that would happen with or without GoDaddy to make the product cutting edge, awesome, simple, and just beautiful. As the web progresses, we obviously get new and awesome tools. So I'm sticking around to make that happen, and I'm going to get some awesome experience dealing with serious scale, and it's a very exciting learning experience for me as well.
Great, thank you.
We have another interesting question that kind of piggybacks onto this idea, which is, okay, we're assured that all the good stuff won't change, but what will be changing?
From what I kind of gather about what will be changing is potentially some design elements might change, but really all the hours and hours and hours of meetings that I've had, discussions with senior architects, and you name it, are centering around making it smooth to use Mad Mimi with GoDaddy without the user even knowing about it. It's all centering around making sure that the billing talks to each other properly, making sure that the authentication talks to each other properly, really to just make Mad Mimi exist in a seamless fashion. A few design elements might change. I don't know if we're going to keep the Mad Mimi logo forever. That might, in a year or two, become the GoDaddy guy. We don't know that for sure yet. Like things change, and we'll have to explore that. But GoDaddy didn't buy Mad Mimi to throw it in the trash. GoDaddy bought Mad Mimi to use the assets and the attractive elements of the product, which hopefully are most of them, to really expand the expression of Mad Mimi out to millions more people than we would be able to get to by ourselves.
Yeah, and to be even maybe more blunt about the question, it's Gary is leading product for Mad Mimi and now the integrated GoDaddy version when we launch that. So changes to the product set will be coming from his perspective, informed by customer input. And so as you all, as current Mad Mimi customers, give feedback, hopefully you have ideas on what we can do better and differently going forward. And so we'll look forward to that feedback, as I know you all have always given feedback to the team, both directly through customer care, through suggestions in the product, and through talking to the team. So keep those suggestions coming. I can see some here in the questions down the side as well. And again, I'm not the product expert on that stuff, so those are things that Gary and team will take a look at, prioritize, and figure out what to do with.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. Josie has asked a couple really good questions, actually. And I'm going to start with the first one of Josie's questions, which just jumped out of my view, but I think I got it. How many customers does Mad Mimi currently have right now?
We have, using the product, I looked, and, I'm not going to give you a vanity figure because that would be really, really high. But, over a 3-month period, there are about 40,000 individuals using Mad Mimi to send emails. If I included that stat to include people who are doing audience uploads and getting sign-ups for their web form and stuff like that, then that number would probably be closer to 60 or 70 or 80,000. But overall, people who are active, non-active, the whole thing is around 250,000 customers. But I like focusing on the guys who are engaged and sending. So hope that stat is satisfying.
Cool, thank you. And this question is on a lot of people's minds. And Stephen, I think you're the right one to field this. How much did GoDaddy pay for Mad Mimi? I know we're not disclosing that, but I figured you could weigh in on that.
Yeah, so we're a private company. Mad Mimi is a private company, so we haven't disclosed that figure. I'm delighted to have the team in the fold, and was delighted actually that I think it's a fair outcome. I know we're excited. I know Mad Mimi is excited, and Gary and the employees there are excited to join us. So we haven't given out the number. We won't give out the number, but I think the good news is people are delighted, and we both came together because we thought it was fair.
Cool. That was kind of a trick question. Sorry, sorry I threw that one at you. I feel like I whacked you behind. I whacked you from behind with that one a bit. So there's a couple questions that I feel are related, and the one is, how long will Gary stay with the team? And in emails as well, I've been seeing this question a lot. How long will various other people stick with the team? Will we maintain the same customer service? Will the same people be doing customer service? So I'm going to actually field this before kicking it over to Gary. So, guys, everyone on my team, which is the customer support team, everyone is sticking around. We're super excited to be able to reach new customers. We're excited to be able to learn from GoDaddy's pretty awesome customer support team as well. They do a very different thing to us, and we fulfill different roles. GoDaddy's customer support team is not going to gobble up Mimi's customer support. We're going to stay different. We're going to stay ourselves. And honestly, we couldn't change even if we wanted to. I'm pretty sure of that. So I'm around. My team is around. We're not going anywhere. Gary, how long do you plan to stay?
Okay, so I'm an entrepreneur, and I like to make stuff, and I like to engage in new stuff. But I also like to make stuff all the way through to the finish line. And I do not believe that an acquisition is the finish line. I think it's really the beginning. I think the finish line is when you're the biggest in the world and are able to feel like the smallest in the world. I think that that is the finish line. That you feel to a customer that you were built for them, with all the love and care and amazing, beautiful experience that is an ideal, some sort of utopian customer experience using the app and engaging with the communication of support. If I can do that at a big scale, I think that I would probably give myself a bit of a pat on the back. You know, an interesting thing is I'm going to be working on a new product inside GoDaddy that is connected with MadMimi. It's a wholly new invention that is going to just make email and e-commerce work so exquisitely together. And GoDaddy is giving me the opportunity to produce that and bring that to everyone who's using the MadMimi email product inside of GoDaddy. So from that perspective, it kind of is just, it satisfies my desire to really operate at scale and to learn a whole heck of a lot more about the internet and making a product great at scale. And secondly, I'm really excited by the idea of nurturing my creative side in producing a totally innovative e-commerce product that's going to sit on top of email. And with those two combined, I see that GoDaddy being a very pleasant environment for me to not have a desire to leave from. So yeah, I'm hoping for many years into the future.
Great, thank you, Gary. Stephen, this one's for you. What will GoDaddy offer MadMimi users?
What do you want?
That's a good answer. We'll have to take that. I mean, at the very least, there's a whole host of services that GoDaddy offers small businesses. In general, what would you think? Let me flip this question around a little bit. What would you think the average MadMimi customer who's a small business, and you're fairly familiar with a lot of our customers at this point, what service or tool should they be using that GoDaddy offers that they might not innately know of?
Yeah, so it's interesting. When we talk to small businesses, many folks are communicating with what I call generic email. So they're sending emails from their Gmail account or their Yahoo account or their Outlook.com account or their AOL, Time Warner, you name it. And that's not just many, that's like 80% of small businesses. And a bunch of the work that we've done recently in looking at what consumers think of businesses that use a generic email is they are not as trustworthy as businesses that use a branded email, a domain name based email. And then we went asked one step further and said, well, hey, look, what is the difference? Like, okay, what do we tell these small business owners as they're thinking about, do they spend $10 a year on a domain name and then run their email through their marketing through it, or put a domain onto their website? And consumers said they were willing, and in fact would spend 8 times more money, or 8 times more likely to buy and spend more money with a small business that has their own domain name than with a generic email. So I think one of the things we could do is figure out how might we bring a domain name offer to the MadMimi base. So that's something that I think all small businesses should seriously consider. It's a great investment in your brand. So that's an easy place to start. It happens to be very well connected to the GoDaddy business as well. But I believe very strongly that's something that a real estate flag for each business is something that they can control and own over time, and everyone should have one.
Great,
I've got a question for Stephen.
Sure.
Stephen, aren't all domain names taken? Like, I mean, I've had some business ideas. I've looked up, domainx.com, and it is always either squatted on or simply just taken.
Yeah, well, many of the 4-letter names in the entire world are truly taken. If you go to a .com and look for any English 4-letter word, it's going to be very hard to go find that and claim it for your own. But what's interesting is in the last 6 months, there's been an explosion in new what are called generic domains. .guru, .vegas, .london, There are a bunch of new country codes. .uk is a good example of that. And that's opening up the choices again for small businesses to find a name that's right for them. So I think .coms, you have to work pretty hard to find a new .com to match your brand exactly. But there's now literally hundreds of new generic top-level domains that you have the opportunity to go after. They're called GTLDs, and that'll really expand the universe for you as a small business owner to choose the right name for you. So, awesome. Gary, we'll have to run a challenge on that and say, okay, what business name do we need to go create, and can we find it on GoDaddy?
Right. Yeah.
Cool. So let's see. One of these questions that has come up a few times is about pricing structure, and I know we've already touched on how things will change, in a philosophical, product-based way. But let's just talk pricing. Stephen, I think you're probably the right person to tackle this one. Do you have any plans on changing Mad Mimi's pricing structure?
We don't. Again, I think people bought the Mad Mimi product from Mad Mimi, and there's a pricing structure based on number of contacts and features and number of emails sent a month. That makes a lot of sense to me, and Gary and team have built that business quite successfully. When we build the product inside of GoDaddy, there's a different way we think about price and pricing, and we want to make it so that it's really easy for customers to buy the product from GoDaddy. It could be bundled in with other products. It may be priced differently. I think the tiers we'll have to look at, because most small businesses have very few contacts. I looked at some data recently inside the GoDaddy base, and the mean number of contacts is just a few hundred, yet those folks still need email marketing. So we've got to find a way to build a business model that works for customers so that there's a lot of value delivered to the small business owner, and a way for GoDaddy to continue to invest in the future product. That's one thing that I've been involved in selling to small businesses for most of my career. And I hear people ask, hey, I want it free, I want it free. And I turn around and say, well, okay, so you don't want support? And they're like, no, I want support. I'm like, well, someone's got to pay those folks that are currently answering those emails or answering the phone call. And then, hey, do you want it to be reliable? And they're like, yeah, I want it to be reliable. I'm like, well, hey, someone's got to pay for the servers to be up and running and be redundant. Oh, and hey, do you want the product to get better and better over time? And the answer is yes. I'm like, well, you have to have engineers to build the product and make it better. So when I talk to customers and people ask for free, I'm delighted to have free tiers, but at some point, a product has to be able to pay for future investments and deliver that quality experience to the small business that they expect. So I believe people pay for quality, and then it just has to be a fair price that really brings the value to a small business owner to a price point that they can afford. And I guess the last point on that is GoDaddy's customers, the average revenue per year for a GoDaddy customer is roughly $120 for everything across the GoDaddy environment. So when we price products for small businesses, we understand we're selling to, in many cases, a business that has very limited means, because they're just getting up and running today.
Cool. Thank you.
Maybe tack on like one little nugget onto that. Historically, I've gone by one pricing ethos and one alone, and I will be, the champion, hopefully, of this pricing this position, which is I always ask myself, how much would I, Gary, feel that is totally appropriate to pay for this particular tier or this particular feature from a totally unbiased, non-interested perspective. And that has always motivated the Mad Mimi pricing from day one. I've always said, how much will I, Gary, feel completely comfortable paying for this? Not at all how much can I get or how much can we get. And I also don't think that that's GoDaddy's position, because GoDaddy's historically been highly disruptive on price specifically, and I think that GoDaddy is really thinking about value a lot, and it feels really, really appropriate for me, just from a business perspective, to feel like I can sleep at night knowing that the price and the value are perfectly matched but erring on the side of providing more value and less price. Never, never erring on the side of the opposite. I do not want to.
Thank you. Awesome. So Jas Singh has had a few really good questions and statements as well, and I'm gonna address one of them, Jas, and Gary and Stephen can weigh in. Jas wrote, and this is the one I'm actually gonna read out line by line because it's put really well. So Jas writes, GoDaddy had an email service for some time, but it didn't do well. What will you do different to keep Mad Mimi innovative? Please take a survey and invest in new features of Mad Mimi. And the reason I wanted to tackle this, which is an awesome question and statement, is because I've noticed in the questions a lot of people have feature requests right here about Salesforce, about table of contents for RSS to email, about text editing. Basically, the way we've always done things is any single bit of feedback, feature requests, all that stuff goes to me and Gary. We listen to it, we make a note, and we add most requests to a roadmap that we then develop based on how many other folks need it, how much they request. So it might not be an outright survey, but we poll all the time, and we're always looking to innovate. In terms of GoDaddy's email service, I think, and Stephen, you can weigh in here a little bit, but what they're doing differently is getting Mad Mimi involved. So I think that kind of is a good starting point thereafter. But we are going to constantly innovate. We listen to absolutely every bit of feedback. We discuss it internally, and always really involved in innovating and growing, and not just following our own sort of roadmap, but really allowing our customers to kind of design the roadmap along with us. So that's my way in. Stephen, Gary, do you have anything to add there?
Yeah, no, totally agree. We're bringing you all in because you're world-class, truly world-class leaders in building email marketing for small business, and we have the customer feedback and the quantitative feedback that say you guys hands down have the best understanding of what small businesses want. So the solution for us was, hey, let's turn this over to the Mad Mimi team.
Awesome. So I have another question, and this one is directly about GoDaddy. What is GoDaddy doing for small to medium businesses in the form of hands-on or face-to-face training on their products? So I'm guessing that's a Mimi user looking to take advantage of what GoDaddy has to offer.
Yeah, so we have a couple of interesting programs. I'm not sure where to point you on the website, and we'll see if we can put something out either at the end of the Hangout, or someone will ping me here in a second, and I can read it out. But we have done some local training with web pros, people who are designers or developers that are in the local community and serving small businesses. So we've done a number of those face-to-face meetings actually around the US, and have done some experiments around the world. We are looking at partnering with even more of those web pros, and we believe that's a great spot to go. And there's a place you can actually go, which is GoDaddyTrainingHub.com. So I'll read that again, GoDaddyTrainingHub.com, and you can find a bunch of resources there for local experts.
Cool, thank you. So now we're going to get into some really hardball questions here. It's common with startups that go big is that they end up losing or disregarding their everyday user. What will we do to avoid doing that? So, Gary, I think I'd like you to address this one first before passing it over to Stephen.
Sure. Yeah. So, both Dean and I are not motivated by money, and we're not motivated by stuff that isn't the good stuff. Because otherwise, if we were, Mad Mimi would not exist. So there is absolutely no way that we would feel comfortable being part of a different organization, no matter who it was, that wasn't clearly aligned with our ethos, effectively. And if you guys new Dean and you see the energy and the beauty and the passion in the emails that he writes and the way he communicates and the way he is anecdotally, there was a different company that wanted to acquire MadMimi couple of years ago, and Dean, do you remember how terrified you were?
I was not a fan. I wasn't very into that whole idea.
We didn't do it. We didn't do it because there was a chance that it would suck the soul out of us and suck the soul out of MadMimi. But this is different. This is different because the energy at GoDaddy, and you can even go look at the offices online. Like you could just Google GoDaddy Sunnyvale, then building this whole new fancy complex with a skate park and everything like that. There's like a lot of good, soul-stimulating, creative, amazing, awesome stuff. And I've seen some of the Arizona spots as well. Just like real creative, just like good creative energy, wood everywhere and modernity, and it's beautiful. In that environment is the ingredients to keep our souls alive, and I think that GoDaddy appears to have a vested interest in doing that, simply because, just so you know, that Dean and I don't have to be anywhere at any. We're not like, we don't have some fancy 2-year contract, 1-year contract to stay on. We're both doing this voluntarily out of choice and out of happiness. And I think that if anything, that is the #1 indicator that we feel that this is a conducive hub, a conducive energy for us to be able to do exactly that which we've done over the last 7 years, which is keep that energy and make it bigger.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, and I think this particular question also asks, hey, when you go big, or do the small guys get pushed out? GoDaddy only serves businesses like MadMimi customers. Even the big customers in both GoDaddy's world and MadMimi's world tend to be work groups inside of those companies. So there is no big guy here. We're all serving that same customer, the small business owner who is either just getting up and running or dreaming of getting bigger, or they've made it, but they've made it and they're in a spot where any small wobble in the business can cause them to have to re-energize themselves in their business and get back to stability. So we are they, and I think that really let in the discussions we had with Dean and Gary and Terry and Mark and the crew, like, look, we are serving the same customer, and that's not changing.
Cool, thank you. So speaking of customers, someone asked, when speaking of small business, because that is something that we've been discussing quite a lot in this Hangout, will we drop our bigger clients? And I think I can just jump in and take this one. No. And the reason we're not dropping anyone is because our larger clients that use MadMimi use it because they appreciate the same energy and the same tools that we offer small businesses. They're using MadMimi not in a way that they're not looking for an enterprise product. They're looking for a product that has that same kind of energy that a small business is looking for. So no, we're not going to be dropping anyone. So I'm going to move on to the next question, unless Gary or Stephen want to jump in there. Fine. Okay. Next question. Cool. So this one also I'm going to answer. Sorry, guys. I'm hogging the limelight a little bit here. Erica asks, simple yes or no, will there be a price increase? No. That suit you guys? Any objections there?
Nope. Asked and answered.
Great. Brilliant. No, Erica, we will not be increasing the price. Okay. So I've been trying to avoid the feature request type of questions, but this one's got a lot of upvotes, so I am going to ask it. Will we work on integrating more with WordPress? And I have added in the word more because we already have WordPress integration for MadMimi in the form of a sign-up form. But Gary, will we be adding any further WordPress integration?
Yeah, we will. We actually, GoDaddy is extremely engaged with WordPress. They have an entire WordPress product, an entire managed WordPress service, and we will. We've already started kicking off a conversation and integration discussion with the head of GoDaddy's WordPress operation to try and figure out, okay, how are we going to take this up a notch? WordPress integration is kind of lightweight, to say the least, and just because we're a small team with constant emergencies on our hands and constant real big stuff that we have to try and figure out how we're going to deal with. WordPress doesn't seem to be like huge in our face constantly, but now we're going to have some extra tools and some amazing resources to be able to really make a WordPress integration pretty awesome. So yeah, absolutely, and I'm super excited to go ahead there.
Cool, thank you. So this question is a little bit, we've touched on it already to a degree, but I like the directness here. And so I'm going to ask you guys something that we have already touched on. And the question is, any difference in the look, or do we just go to Mad Mimi, log in, and life will peacefully continue? Gary?
Okay, so for a while, that'll be the case. I have this fancy idea. It might be overly romantic, but I think it's going to work. You can actually theme your own Mad Mimi. And if you can theme your own Mad Mimi, then you can actually make a business out of Mad Mimi yourself. Meaning, Stephen earlier touched on the idea of web pros. A web pro is an individual who has some customers who he helps make products for. And I'm kind of thinking, just the way you theme your emails, it would be so cool if you could actually theme your entire Mad Mimi experience in a real simple, fun way, obviously, and this is geared towards web pros. And then my fancy idea is once we really nail that, effectively we're going to use it to theme the GoDaddy Mad Mimi branded version. We're going to try and use our own theming tools that we build for everyone to actually theme the product. So it's not going to be like, some wacky kind of, new design or whatever. I mean, in a couple of years, we'll probably end up redesigning and doing stuff that is appropriate for the internet that kind of goes stale if you leave things for too long. But yeah, I want to have fun with theming. As you've seen, we've kind of got a whole bunch of new color magic going on in Mad Mimi when you change the background of your promotion. The buttons start changing colors. So that's really the very, very beginning of the ability to theme Mad Mimi. And not only that, but intelligently understand from a tiny little bit of color information, a whole bunch of other color information. So to be able to make things darker and lighter and use luminosity intelligently and figure out how shadows should look and what should be light and what should be dark and all sorts of stuff, and then carry that through the entire GoDaddy system so that if you want to make a website and if you want to make a blog and if you want to make have an online shop, so that same theme information is going to be able to be carried through the entire range of your tools. So if you're a small business that wants to sell stuff online, or you're a small business that wants to have a website, I want you to do one theme, and your entire experience will filter through from that theme into whatever products you're using, and it's going to be real simple, and it's going to be real pretty, and we're not going to make you choose every little color and every little text nugget and set link sizes and all sorts of stuff. We're going to be able to use our brains, which is really what technology should be doing, and do all that good work for you. So really, it's all kind of, it's a bit of a verbose answer to your question, but really you touched on something much bigger, which is, yeah, we want to totally look at the whole idea of design from a much more global perspective and see if we can really innovate product design, internet web design from that perspective.
Cool, thank you. But I'm going to just add a PS to your answer, Gary. From tomorrow, yes, you just log into Mad Mimi and continue Continue
Hey,
as you were.
vote to people. If you guys can please +1 or -1 a vote. Today I thought about adding the Mad Mimi brand, where it says Mad Mimi on the top left of the screen. So under it, I was thinking about putting Mad Mimi, a GoDaddy product, with the GoDaddy oval with some sort of Mad Mimi, a GoDaddy product under there. What do you think? Should I just leave it Mad Mimi, or should I put Mad Mimi, a GoDaddy product?
So there isn't a place to +1, but write a yes or a no as a question, and we'll note and count them. So Stephen, okay, so basically we're going longer than I'd initially planned, but the questions and the answers are actually kind of exciting to me. So I'm not letting you guys go that easily. I have about 3 more things that I'd like to touch on.
Perfect.
And this one is my own question, but it's inspired by a few other feature requests / questions that I've seen. And Stephen, Get Found is a pretty fascinating product, and I think that a ton of Mad Mimi customers would like to learn a little bit more about Get Found. Could you tell them what it does?
Yeah, absolutely. I saw that in some of the questions where people were saying, hey, can we find a way through our mail to get people to rate us or review us, or ensure that their feedback shows up in various business listings and social sites like Yelp. So
Right.
Get Found is a service that brings a small business's identity out beyond their website to get listed in places like Google My Business and Yelp, and if you're a restaurant, inside of OpenTable, and a couple of dozen other sites across the web. And the goal is for a business that is local, and most small businesses that we work with are both service businesses and serving local customers. It's a fantastic way to ensure when a prospective customer searches for a topic, whether it's a service or a product that you offer as a business, that you show up in that search, whether it's on the web or on a mobile phone. So yeah, go take a look at the Get Found service. I think literally you can go type in getfound.com. I'll see if anyone on my team can tell me if that's right or not. I think if you type in getfound.com, you might show up at that service on GoDaddy and take a look. Or go to GoDaddy.com and click on Get Found at the top menu bar.
There are a bunch of MIT PhDs.
Yeah, Marek and Renee and a bunch of brilliant guys out of Cambridge who built that service. And I saw that and I thought, hey, that's a really good idea. Maybe we can link those two different concepts together. So yeah, great question, Dean and folks in the Hangout. We'll take that back, and that'll be part of the integration plan.
Cool. So Elaine has had a bunch of delivery-related questions, and I'm going to actually tackle that, unless maybe I should kick this one over to you, Mira. Mira, what does Mad Mimi do to make sure that our senders don't land in the spam folder, and how do we actually make sure that we're not sending spam? Let's get a quick touch on that. But Elaine, I do want to mention I'm happy to connect you anytime to our delivery experts. Just shoot me an email, dean@madmimi.com, and we can really get into the delivery stuff. But I figure, Mira, a few people will have the same question. So let's tackle delivery.
All right, let's talk. Let's talk delivery. When you are sending to your legitimate business contacts, then there is no reason for anything to be marked as spam, and we work very hard with all of you who are sending in order to make sure that no services or inbox providers are erroneously highlighting your emails as spam. And the main things that you can do are having healthy opt-in lists and making sure that your lists are up to date. Best practices in the industry are current lists within the last 18 months. And of course, as Dean said, if you ever have any problems at all, please get in touch with us, because we're more than happy to work with you and to find out what's going on and to look into the details of this situation and see what could be happening.
Cool, thank you. I'm going to tackle one question quickly. Well, it's actually two. Larry asked, will we be expanding our customer support team? And Jeez, I've lost your name. Sorry. Someone else. It's the questions keep flowing down, so I don't always have everyone's name that asked the question. I believe it was Tony. In my latest book, I wrote about the great customer service Mad Mimi provides. Will that same service continue? And I feel these questions are very much related. Will we be expanding our customer service team? Yes, but not for the sake of it. We will be growing organically like we always have. As we need to hire the next person, we do. Larry, I know you. I know who you are. I feel like there's it's a little bit of an in-joke here that we're passing over the web. Totally, I have your email, and more than happy to keep you updated with our team's growth. And Tony, our customer service is going to get better, not because we are joining GoDaddy, but because every single day, everyone on the team looks at ways we can improve. Every morning begins with a team discussion on what we can do better, and that's not going to change at all. Customer service is important to GoDaddy, and I'm actually going to take this opportunity to tell a story that Steven's probably sick of hearing already. But in our first month, Gary suggested I call GoDaddy's customer service just to see how well they do it, and I had an awesome experience with their phone support. And it is something we're going to be looking at, and I think all round, customer service to us is super important. Customer service to GoDaddy is super important, and we're going to learn from each other and work together to always improve, but we're not going to make any changes. We're not going to start following scripts. We're not going to change our workflow, but we are going to continue, like we already do, looking at ways to improve. So final question, I think, and this one is for Gary. Where did Mad Mimi get its name? How did we decide on the branding and marketing to create this fun, quirky, awesome face to a lean, mean, customized email blasting machine?
Ah, that's beautiful. Who are you?
let me go find who that was.
Great question. So, music industry marketing interface. Except that good old 4-letter domain was taken. So I had no choice but to find other names that could be put either before or after. So I figured, I used to work in this little office that I used to rent a space for while I used to bang my head against trying to make it in the music industry. And they were called Madstone Productions. Remember me, Madstone Productions? I used to sit at a little table next to you. So Mad, and then Mimi, and then that domain was available, and then that became the can you imagine how many, the fact that all the domains in the world that are great are squatted on already, how many creative business names that's given rise to. So and then, you know, I was looking through, and I'm telling you, people, when you're making a business, or when you're improving your business, or when you're building something new, just let everything just happen to you. You just kind of, you know, I was opening a book, and out popped, you know, this designer who won these fancy awards, and what I do, and what I think everyone should do, is whenever you want to hire someone or find something, or you know, you need someone to do something for you effectively. Like, I always start at the top and I work my way down. I don't care who it is. So I found this guy who won these fancy Cannes Lion Awards, doing some ad stuff, and I loved his illustration. So of course I emailed him, and it took me quite a few emails to get some response, and then I begged and begged and begged and begged until they would please make me a logo. So it tends to be more time consuming to do that kind of stuff, but it's really resulted in some really awesome fun stuff. Anyway, he designed the Mad Mimi logo, that woman, and that Mimi, the icon, and it was meant to be a service for musicians. And then I thought, well, this is actually a pretty cool way to build an email. It was this way for musicians to kind of like add photographs into a gallery area and drag MP3s into this vertical stacked thing, and that eventually just became, I was like thinking like, oh my god, this is such a great alternative to the idea of templates. You can put these components in and then theme it, and since then every single email marketing product on the planet has copied that UI, which was totally unique in 2008. We'll probably do something else unique in the future, but that is Mimi. Mimi was for musicians, and now it's for everyone.
Cool. Thank you, Gary. So, you know what? I was going to wrap it up, but I have a couple things to just say before I kick it back to you, Gary, and you, Stephen, to say any goodbyes. Erica, we will always be simple and easy to use. Don't worry. And to someone else who, Lana. Lana, you asked about, will you need to be a GoDaddy customer in the future to get the most from Mad Mimi? The simple answer is no, but there's a lot that GoDaddy offers, and as we develop this melding of minds, it's likely that there will be something special if you use both platforms. GoDaddy has a lot of amazing tools for small businesses that you can get a lot out of them regardless of Mad Mimi. So the answer to that is a yes and a no. Sorry to hedge my bets there. And that's it. Thank you, everyone. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. I'm also more than happy to forward on any questions to Gary or Stephen, but you can email me, dean@madmimi.com, gary@madmimi.com. Stephen, you want to give your email address?
Yeah, absolutely. It's saldrich@godaddy.com. SALDRICH@godaddy.com.
Cool. Thank you. Mira is mira@madmimi.com. And fine. Stephen, you want to say goodbyes?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Happy to join more of these down the road. We've got a good first day behind us now as one company. And again, customers should expect nothing to change right now. So keep logging in, as Dean said. Continue to use Mad Mimi, send suggestions as you always have. The teams are going to get hard at work once we catch our breath in the last couple of weeks of intense work together and bring something great to market. So we'll look forward to your feedback. And I've seen some things about what can we do to integrate various services between the two companies. So when folks do use both together, some of the parts is greater than the individual pieces, and we'll definitely be doing that, and we'll love your input when that starts to take shape. So thank you. It's delightful to meet the Mad Mimi customers face to face, even if it's over a computer screen, and we appreciate all the work you do every day to be a small business person. And again, we hope to keep your business and earn more of it down the road.
Thank you. Gary?
Oh yeah, it's amazing to have the opportunity to work with so many awesome people, you know, and you know, what would I do without Mira, Dean, and the rest of the team, and all you guys. You guys are just like, I feel so much love for you all. You know, it's great. Thank you so much for being part of this amazing, incredible journey and giving us the opportunity to make, you know, make something that you use. It's just the most rewarding thing ever.
Cool. Thank you. I'm going to say my goodbye now. Thank you, everyone, for listening, for hanging out. Mira, you're awesome. Mira set this whole thing up, not me. I did most of the talking here, but Mira is awesome. Set this whole thing up. Thank you, Mira. And guys, please, again, feel free to reach out. Customer service is something I'm seriously, to a silly, weird degree, very, very passionate about. So ask me anything, write anytime, and I appreciate everyone listening, hanging out, asking the questions, and yeah, it's exciting. First day with GoDaddy. It's good. It's pretty cool.
GoDaddy email address, Dean?
I haven't gotten one yet. Stephen, can I have one?
Yes, we'll send it to you right away.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you, everyone, so much. Cheers.
Okay, bye.